What if I told you that your silence speaks louder than anything you could ever say? The breakup left you hurt, confused, and searching for answers. You may think reaching out, explaining yourself, or trying to fix things is the solution, but it's not. What shakes her to the core isn't your words, it's your absence. This pain, this emptiness you feel right now is not a weakness, it's an opportunity. The very silence you fear can become the force that redefines you, not into someone broken, but into someone unshakable. Silence isn't defeat, it's strategy. And if you know how to use it, you'll shift the entire dynamic without saying a word. You're standing at a crossroad. Either let this situation crush you, or let it sculpt you into someone she never thought you could become. So, if you're ready to choose power over pain, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I master myself, not the situation. Let's dive in. Number 1. The silent break. Why saying nothing speaks the loudest. After a breakup, most men fall into the trap of trying to talk their way back. Endless explanations, apologies, or pleas. But what if I told you that the most powerful reaction is to say nothing at all? When you walk away in silence, you create an emotional disruption far deeper than any argument or desperate confession. Silence is the unexpected move, the one thing she didn't prepare for. It interrupts her narrative and forces her to confront the situation on her own. You see, most women expect you to react emotionally. They've seen it before. Men begging, negotiating, trying to fix things through words, but when you don't react, when you simply walk away, it plants a seed of confusion. It makes her ask questions she wasn't ready to face. Why isn't he chasing me? Did he stop caring? Was I wrong about him? This uncertainty is where the real shift begins. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius himself said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your silence is a declaration that you are in control, not your emotions, not her actions, and not the outcome of this breakup. You're telling her, without a word, that you don't need validation to move forward. And believe me, this is much louder than any desperate plea could ever be. Here's the opportunity you have. Instead of chasing, you choose restraint. Instead of explaining yourself, you let silence speak for you. This doesn't mean you're avoiding the pain. On the contrary, you're taking it head-on without giving her the satisfaction of seeing you crumble. You are refusing to play the predictable role, and by doing so, you shift the dynamic completely. What should you do? Commit fully to the silent path. No calls, no texts, no checking up. The silence isn't a trick, it's a boundary. It's a statement that says, "I value myself too much to beg." Every day you maintain this, the more space you give her to reflect on her own actions, to feel the absence of your presence, and to question whether walking away was truly the right choice. The psychological effect is undeniable. People fear the unknown. Your silence becomes a blank canvas where she projects her own doubts, guilt, and regrets. Without realizing it, she becomes the one trying to make sense of what happened, and that alone can flip the script. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 2. Emotional control, turning vulnerability into power. In the aftermath of heartbreak, emotions run wild. The urge to lash out, to cry, to plead, or to demand answers feels overwhelming. You may believe that expressing these raw emotions will make her understand your pain, maybe even feel guilty enough to return. But the Stoics saw things differently. They understood that uncontrolled emotions don't solve problems. They hand over power. Every tear, every desperate word, every display of anger is like giving her the keys to your inner world. When you expose all your emotions openly, you become predictable. She knows exactly how you feel, exactly how much you're hurting, and exactly how to keep control. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending you don't care. It's about regaining composure and refusing to let emotions dictate your actions. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be emotionless. It teaches you to master emotion, to make sure you are the one holding the reins, not her, not the situation, and not your impulses. Picture a warrior in battle. The one who charges blindly, sword swinging wildly, is the first to fall. The warrior who controls his movements, who is patient, calculated, and precise, is the one who survives. Your emotional control is the same. When you stop reacting, you stop giving her control over your story. You rob her of the ability to manipulate the situation, intentionally or not. She cannot predict you anymore, and unpredictability is magnetic. Here's the opportunity. Use the pain you're feeling as fuel, not as a reason to act impulsively. Every time you feel the urge to send a text, argue, or express frustration, pause, breathe. Redirect that energy into something that strengthens you, a workout, a project, or even quiet reflection. The less you react, the more she will wonder what's going on inside you, and the truth is, she will begin to feel uncertainty and insecurity, the very emotions you are battling. What can you do? Remind yourself daily you don't owe anyone a reaction. Your peace is yours to guard. Master your emotional responses, not by denying your feelings, but by choosing when and how you show them. True strength is found not in the absence of emotions, but in the control of them. Psychologically, this shifts the power back to you. Instead of being a victim of circumstance, you become the calm force she didn't expect. And that calmness is often what will make her question everything. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 3, stop chasing what's already yours. The most common mistake men make after a breakup is believing they must fight, convince, or beg to reclaim love. They think if they just say the right words, show enough emotion, or prove themselves, she will return. But the Stoics knew better. True value, whether in love, respect, or power, cannot be chased. It must be earned naturally, or it is never real to begin with. When you chase someone who has walked away, you're telling them, without words, that they are above you, that you need their validation to feel worthy. And worse, you're telling yourself that your value is negotiable, that it depends on whether they choose you or not. But if you truly believe you were valuable in the relationship, if you know you gave love, loyalty, and effort, then what's meant for you will come back without you having to beg for it. Imagine a king abandoning his throne to run after someone who chooses to leave the castle. That image is tragic, not noble. A true king stays seated, knowing that those who recognize his value will return, not out of obligation, but out of realization. The same applies to you. When you hold your ground, when you refuse to chase, you invite respect, not pity. Here's the opportunity. Let go of the need to be chosen. Detach from the outcome. Focus on the only thing you truly control, yourself. Every time you resist the urge to chase, you reclaim a piece of your dignity. Instead of fighting to win someone back, fight to win yourself back. Work on your strength, your character, and your mission. Let silence and distance do what words never could. What should you do? The next time you feel the urge to text, to check up, or to prove yourself, pause. Remind yourself that what's meant for you will find its way back, and if it doesn't, it was never truly yours. Redirect that energy into building something more valuable, your own life. The man who doesn't chase, who doesn't negotiate his value, is the one who commands the room without saying a word. Psychologically, this will reverse the dynamic. She will begin to feel the shift. No longer are you the one trying to win her over. Instead, you have become the one who must be earned. And that alone plants seeds of doubt, curiosity, and eventually regret. Now speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 4, turning pain into power. The forge of breakup. When a breakup hits, it feels like standing in the middle of a storm. Every thought pulls you towards sadness, regret, or even anger. It's natural to feel broken, but this is where most men fall into the trap of self-pity. They let the pain consume them, believing that the hurt is the end of the story. But the Stoics saw pain differently. They saw it as the forge, the place where strength is shaped, not shattered. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the breakup isn't the end, it's the starting line. Your pain isn't a curse, it's a tool. The man who takes this suffering and channels it into discipline, self-improvement and mental fortitude emerges from the storm stronger than ever. Think of the blacksmith who forges a sword. The metal must be subjected to fire, hammered and refined repeatedly before it becomes sharp and resilient. Your heartbreak is the fire. The emotions, the sleepless nights, the doubt, that is the hammer. But only if you endure it with patience and purpose will you forge the version of yourself capable of more than you were before. Here's your opportunity. Instead of allowing this pain to make you weaker, let it make you unbreakable. Don't run from it. Don't distract yourself with meaningless pleasures. Face it head-on and turn it into fuel. Go build your body, grow your mind, strengthen your discipline. Whether she notices or not becomes irrelevant, because the reward is not her attention, the reward is the man you will become. What can you do? Each time you feel that sharp sting of heartbreak, tell yourself, "This is the forge." Then take action. Train harder, focus deeper, become more present. Choose progress over pity. Choose discomfort that makes you stronger over comfort that keeps you weak. By doing so, you're not just surviving the breakup, you're transforming because of it. Psychologically, this changes everything. When you rise from heartbreak without bitterness, without begging, but with quiet strength, it leaves an undeniable impression. Even if she never says it, she'll notice. And so will you, because you'll look in the mirror and realize you became the man you always wanted to be, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 5, the mirror effect, when your absence reflects her own emptiness. Most men underestimate how powerful their simple absence can be. When you were there, texting good mornings, sharing jokes, offering comfort, it likely became part of her daily routine, familiar, predictable, maybe even taken for granted. But when you suddenly withdraw, without drama, without noise, it creates a mirror that doesn't just reflect you, it reflects the space you used to occupy. This is the beauty of pulling back without bitterness. You don't try to convince her of your worth. You don't deliver speeches or explanations. You simply leave space. A space where your energy, attention and presence once lived. And slowly, almost without her noticing at first, the silence starts to echo. The missing good mornings, the absence of your calming words, the lack of your steady attention, they begin to stand out, not because you made noise, but because you took the music away. The Stoics knew that attention is a precious currency. When you give it too freely, people don't value it. But when you remove it without resentment, you force them to confront the vacuum it leaves behind. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The same applies to attention. The less you give, the more valuable it becomes. Here's your opportunity. Let the silence speak for you. Don't rush to fill the space with explanations. Don't attempt to prove your worth. Let her feel what it's like without you there. Let her wake up to the absence of the attention she had grown accustomed to. Your absence will serve as the most honest reflection of the value you brought into her life. What can you do? Simply hold the line. Don't give attention recklessly. Focus inward. Your health, your growth, your craft. As you grow, that silence becomes louder and louder in her world. And the most powerful part? You're not actively doing anything to make her miss you. You are simply living for yourself and allowing reality to reveal itself to her. Psychologically, this shift is uncomfortable for her. She expected you to chase, to explain, to try. But instead, you've removed yourself calmly and powerfully. The longer you maintain this, the more she will start to wonder if losing you was a mistake. And by then, you'll be too busy growing to care. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 6. The mind's game, how silence makes her question everything. One of the most underestimated forces in any breakup is silence. It seems harmless, passive even, but in reality it's one of the most psychologically powerful moves you can make. Why? Because in the absence of information, the human mind creates stories. When you remain silent, you force her to become the narrator of her own confusion. When you don't respond, when you don't chase, you rob her of something crucial: control. Most expect men to either lash out, seek closure, or desperately try to fix things. But when you do none of that, when you calmly remove yourself and stay silent, you leave her mind scrambling for answers. Is he hurting? Does he care at all? Did he move on already? These questions won't just cross her mind, they will dominate it. The Stoics mastered this game of the mind. They understood that control wasn't about manipulating others, but about refusing to be controlled yourself. Marcus Aurelius didn't say to suppress emotions, he said to control them. Your silence isn't about pretending not to care, it's about not handing over the keys to your emotional world. By leaving space, you force her to fill in the blanks with her own imagination. And that is far more powerful than anything you could say. Imagine someone knocking on a door and no one answers. At first they assume you're busy, but after enough unanswered knocks, doubt creeps in, then worry, then obsession. Silence is never just silence, it's a message without words. Here's your opportunity: maintain the mystery. Let the silence work on your behalf. Resist the urge to clarify, explain, or defend yourself. Every time you think about breaking it, remember, the less she knows, the more she wonders. And the more she wonders, the more control you quietly regain. What can you do? Keep living, but privately. Don't feed her breadcrumbs to keep her comfortable. Let her feel the full weight of the absence. Instead, invest fully in your own life, training, working, evolving. The less you show, the more she imagines. And that imagination will almost always be worse or more intriguing than reality. Psychologically, this is devastating for her control. When you don't react as expected, she no longer has a predictable version of you to manage. You become a question mark in her mind, and people chase answers far more than they chase people. Now speak out and comment below, I control my mind. No one else does. Number 7. The magnetic pull of mystery. Less said, more desired. In a world where everyone overshares their thoughts, emotions, even their insecurities, there is something captivating about the man who chooses not to. When you speak less, when you don't reveal every inner thought or feeling, you naturally become more attractive. Not because you're playing games, but because mystery is a force humans are drawn to. The less people know, the more they want to know. The Stoics lived by this principle. They believed in speaking little and observing much. They valued internal clarity over external noise. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic minds, led entire legions of men without revealing every fear, every hope, every emotion. His mystery didn't make him distant, it made him respected and admired. Your silence, your restraint, can have the exact same effect. Think of it like this. A story where every plot twist is revealed too soon quickly loses its audience. But a story that unfolds slowly, hinting at deeper layers, keeps people hooked. When you show restraint, when you don't constantly update her or those around you about your emotional state, you become that story. A story she's no longer part of, but one she can't help but be curious about. Here's your opportunity. Let mystery become your greatest ally. Avoid posting cryptic quotes or subtle jabs. That's just disguised attention-seeking. Instead, simply live. Focus on becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to be understood by everyone. Speak when it's necessary, but never just to fill the silence. Let her and the world see less of you and watch how much more they desire to know. What can you do? The next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, to hint at your feelings, or to show her you're okay, stop. Instead, invest that energy in building the life you want. Let your progress, not your words, be the only thing visible from a distance, and leave the rest hidden where it belongs, within you. Psychologically, mystery creates a gravitational pull. We are naturally drawn to what we can't fully grasp. By saying less, you actually say more. You project confidence, control, and depth. And slowly, without you lifting a finger, she will find herself wondering more about you, about the parts of you that are no longer so easily available. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 8. Walking away without falling apart. One of the most disarming things you can do after someone leaves is to simply carry on. Not with bitterness, not with passive aggression, but with genuine composure. Most people expect you to crumble, to fall into despair, to chase. That's the script they've seen countless times. But when you walk away calmly, with no dramatic exit, it forces them to question everything. This is where the strength of the Stoic mindset shines brightest. The Stoics teach us that suffering doesn't come from the event itself, but from how we interpret it. A breakup is painful, yes, but it doesn't have to be destructive. When you accept the loss without losing yourself, you demonstrate power most people rarely witness. You're showing that your happiness wasn't built entirely on another person. You're proving that you can hold the storm inside without letting it destroy you. Imagine a ship sailing through rough seas, but instead of capsizing, it adjusts its sails and keeps moving forward. That's who you become when you endure the breakup without making it your identity. She might expect you to spiral, but when you continue living, improving, and showing up for yourself, you send a message louder than any words could. You are unbreakable, and nothing is more unsettling to someone who expected you to collapse. Here's your opportunity. Leave quietly, but build loudly. Don't announce your comeback, let your actions show it. Heal without broadcasting it, grow without seeking applause. When you walk away and continue thriving, it creates cognitive dissonance in her mind. Was I wrong about him? How is he stronger now than when we were together? These questions will echo in the silence you leave behind. What can you do? Commit to yourself. Set goals. Reconnect with friends. Dive into your work. Push your limits physically and mentally. Every step you take without needing her attention or validation is a statement of power. You're not pretending to be okay, you are becoming okay, fully and authentically. Psychologically, this changes everything. People expect others to fall apart after rejection, but when you don't, when you show up stronger, you flip the narrative entirely. The one who walks away stronger becomes unforgettable, not because they forced their presence on others, but because their quiet growth is impossible to ignore. Now speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 9. The silent void. Let absence speak louder than words. Most men make the mistake of believing that the key to winning someone back is by explaining themselves better, convincing harder, or showing more affection. But what they miss is the simple fact that words, no matter how carefully chosen, rarely have the power that silence does. It is not what you say after she leaves, it is what she feels when you are no longer there. Silence creates a void, a space that was once filled with your attention, your laughter, your presence. And while you might assume that your absence will be quickly forgotten, the opposite is true. The Stoics teach us that true value doesn't need to be defended or explained. It reveals itself when it is no longer available. By walking away without dramatics or justification, you invite her to experience the one thing most people fear the most: emptiness. Think of it like a candle extinguished in a dark room. At first, she might not notice. She may think the glow will return, that the light will flicker back at the first sign of attention. But when it stays dark, she is forced to acknowledge the cold, the emptiness, and most importantly, the comfort that the candle once brought. That is exactly what your absence does. Here's your opportunity. Don't rush to fill the space with words. Let the silence do the work. It is often stronger than any argument you could make. While she reflects in that quiet, she will start to notice the space you used to fill. not just physically but emotionally. The small comforts, the attention, the energy you consistently gave without demanding anything in return. What can you do? Step back completely. Detach not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Don't break your silence to reassure her or to remind her of your worth. Your value will become clearer in your absence. Every day you don't reach out, the void grows more noticeable. Not out of spite, but out of sheer contrast to the life she knew with you. Psychologically, this creates discomfort, not for you, but for her. The human mind hates uncertainty and hates a gap without an explanation. The more you resist filling the silence, the more she will be drawn to the question, did I make a mistake? And when that question lingers long enough, it becomes impossible to ignore. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 10. The Stoic Return. Becoming the man she can't replace. The most powerful thing you can do after a breakup isn't to convince her to come back. It's to become someone she can't ignore, not because you beg for her attention, but because of the undeniable presence you develop in her absence. This is the ultimate Stoic move, the quiet return. Not a return to her, but a return to yourself. Most men focus on winning her back. The Stoic focuses on winning himself back. By quietly healing, growing, and elevating your life, you rise beyond the version of yourself she thought she knew. You're not the man who was left behind anymore. You've evolved. You've become the man who doesn't need her to feel whole, but who can now stand with or without her, stronger than ever. Picture a king who was once exiled from his own castle. Instead of begging to be let back in, he rebuilds a kingdom of his own, not to prove anyone wrong, but because that's what kings do. When he returns, not to reclaim the old castle, but to show who he has become, everyone notices, especially those who once underestimated him. That is what happens when you focus on yourself after heartbreak. Here's the opportunity you have now. This is not about showing her you're fine. This is about becoming fine, truly, without pretending, without performing. When you put your energy into physical strength, mental clarity, emotional resilience, and purpose, you don't just heal, you transform. You become someone who is impossible to ignore, not because you try to be seen, but because your very presence commands it. What can you do? From this moment on, make a decision. Become the Stoic king. Stop focusing on what you lost and start focusing on what you are building. Let go of resentment. Let go of the need for revenge, and instead, choose mastery over yourself. Show up every day for you. Progress quietly. Speak less. Let the results speak louder than words ever could. Psychologically, this is what truly makes you unforgettable. When you no longer need her, or anyone, to validate you, you project the very energy that draws people back. Not because you want them back, but because you have outgrown the version of yourself that would have chased. You are no longer the man who was left, you are the man who rises. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. You started thinking that words could fix everything, but now you see it was your silence that held the real power. The very thing that felt like loss became your greatest advantage. She didn't take your power with her when she left. All she did was reveal where you had yet to claim it. If you're ready to continue evolving beyond what you ever imagined, like this video, subscribe and comment below. I am unstoppable. Stay strong, stay silent, and keep building, because your future belongs to no one but you.